Welcome to 24 Days of Comfort, a casual tea time check-in every day till Christmas, talking mental health, books, hobbies, and whatever else comes up. The holidays can be very stressful, so I'm here to gently nudge you toward the couch, a hot drink, or at least a deep breath. Before we start, we're gonna do a little cozy check-in, so when you're ready, try to get comfortable, see if you can relax even 5% more, grabbing a pillow, moving around a little bit, just snuggling up. O, oxygen. We're going to take a deep breath together. We're going to inhale twice and exhale with a sigh. Just landing. This is called a physiological sigh. I love them. They're so good to calm the nervous system, so you can take more if you want to. Then we've got, what was it again? The Z, zero tension. Zero tension, zero pressure. See if you can unclench your jaw, relax your muscles, drop your shoulders, unclench your butt cheeks if you are clenching them. You never know. And try to, surrender to wherever you are. And then lastly, we've got you time. Is there anything that you need right now that you want to give attention to? Maybe you want a blanket, maybe you want a hot drink, maybe you want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb, anything you need. This is your time. And then when you're ready, hi, we're here. I'm Fleur, I'm your host. I'm very excited to be here. Today I'm just going to yap. I don't have a plan. Hee. The tea that we're having today, every day I'm going to grab a tea from my Puka herbal tea advent calendar. Today we're doing day 3, and that's lemon, ginger, and manuka honey. Yesterday it was chamomile and vanilla and manuka honey. So I feel like they're doing a little something, because the first tea that we had, I'm immediately rambling, by the way. Hey. The first tea that I had was ginger, orange, star anise, and then now we have lemon ginger. I feel like they're combining things, I feel like we're really on a journey because these flavors are kind of matching. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm suddenly super interested. I hope that they were intentional about the flavor package. I don't know. We're gonna see. I think I'm gonna give this one maybe a 6. I feel like it's just very average. I'm rating all the teas, and yeah, this feels like a 6 just because I don't feel like it's significantly special. 6 is still good, It's good, you passed. But yeah, nothing crazy blowing my mind about it. Okay, so today, day 3, how are we feeling? Is this your first video that you're tuning into? Have you been here before? Are you new to the channel even? Maybe hi. A check-in from me. I had a pretty productive day and also a surprisingly emotional day. I started off with work. I had a brand deal sponsorship type of video that I needed to film some footage for, and it was yoga based, so I spent some time moving stuff around my room and trying to showcase products and filming that, and I'm very happy with the end result. I think it looks really nice. I will try to insert clips if I have the energy and time to, and otherwise you'll have to check out my ASMR channel. But that's what I spent my morning doing. I did some admin stuff, and then I edited that video, and I uploaded a video. So it was quite productive. It takes a pretty long time to edit stuff, put things together. I did a voiceover, which I rarely do, but it was nice to do that. And what did I do after? Is that when I crashed out? Could be. I don't know. We had a piece of furniture delivered at our house, and I need to gossip about this. We have this huge cabinet thing that got delivered, and the man in the store had already been like, make sure that there's a man there so we can lift the piece onto the piece. It's like a 2-piece thing. It's heavy, it's large, eye catcher in the room, blah blah blah. But he made a sexist comment about their needing to be a man because they are strong. And I was already, pissed off at that. I was like, okay, I can't wait to see this man in our house. Let me lift up that whole thing on my own. And then he came. And then I did ask the builders that are renovating our neighbor's house if one of them wanted to help. Like, I asked my neighbor if I could borrow one of her men. And so we kept one of them in the garage. I'm kidding. But yeah, so the man came, and I did have a backup builder at hand because I just didn't know how steadfast in his opinion that man would be. And, it's my parents' piece of furniture. So anyway, first of all, when we all came outside, I was like, I assumed that we needed to help a little bit, And he was in this big van, and he dropped the plateau. You know how you open the door and then it can kind of drop down. He was doing that, and he was like, "Don't squeal, don't scream." And I was like, "Okay, you don't either." Then that's what I said. I was like, "What do you mean? Do you mean because I'm a girl that I'm gonna scream because you are like lugging around a big piece of furniture? I'm not that impressed. I'm not that easily impressed either." And it's also just, I don't know. It irked me because I already had the information of how he'd been before. So when he was at the house and he brought in the pieces, he was like, "Well, now I'm gonna need a man. I'm gonna need a man. I don't live with women. I don't live them with women. I've said this before." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Yeah, they are usually smaller." I'm like, "I'm 5'9". What do you want?" It made no sense, but I didn't really want to fuss, so I asked one of the guys to help, and then he did. And now we have a new piece of furniture in the house. But that was definitely an experience that I've never had before, and I hope to never have again, because what the actual fuck was that? Who says that? What do you, like, me and my mom were there. There were 2 women there, and my dad. What do you mean there aren't enough people? Like, do you need another man? Are you that strong? Are men that much stronger? I don't think so. I really don't. And then my dad lifted it, and he was like, "It really also wasn't that heavy. Like, you could have done this easily. What's the fuss about?" Too bad my parents paid him a large sum of money for that thing. But it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, that was fun. And then I went back to work a little bit. I had some other admin stuff to do and frantically checking YouTube comments on a new video that I had posted. And I'm just curious what people think, the usual. And then I had a crash out. I did. But is it a crash out if it's kind of valid? I just felt rejected over something. Someone had texted me pretty dismissively and skipped out on a whole other text where I had asked them a question, and it was about me wanting to show them something, and they didn't respond to that. And then I got a really dry response, and I don't know, for some reason that just triggered a lot of emotion in me, and it took me a long time to let the dust settle, if that's even a thing to say. I don't handle rejection very well, especially from the specific person that this interaction was with. It's okay now, like, I'm fine. It still isn't great, but I also I don't feel like I'm not at a place where I would tell that person in a very serious way, like, "Hey, this hurt my feelings," which I would do with a friend, but we have a difficult dynamic, so I'm not gonna get into it too much. But yeah, I just had to deal with the disappointment and move on. And then the first part I'm already not so great at, and then the second part feels impossible. I sometimes really find it hard to move through an emotion, and sometimes I also feel like, I don't know if anyone recognizes this, when you are in an emotion, sometimes you don't want to get out. It's like self-pity is really nice sometimes, but you do have to push yourself out of there. And eventually, oftentimes, I'll want to, and I will. But sometimes I'm like, let me wallow. Let me just be sad. And the thing is that all of these emotions came to me as I was doing Yoga Nidra. And I'd spend my whole morning working, and it was like a yoga nidra based thing. And then I finally get to lay down myself and just receive, and it was like about love and acceptance. And I'm not loving and accepting any of what's happening. And so I was just crying, and then I was like, this is actually not the time to lay down, because I am in no way going to be able to relax. So I need a different approach right now. So I just texted my friends, and then I FaceTimed a friend, and then I wanted to go outside for a walk, but I ended up going to the grocery store. I needed to drop off a package, but the drop off point was closed. Then I was like, okay, am I gonna go for a walk in the woods, or am I gonna go grocery shopping? I don't have the energy to do both. We're out of stuff in the fridge. Maybe it's also nice to just get all the stuff that I need, get all the vegetables that I want, and then just have that settled for the rest of the week. So that's what I did. I think that I mentioned this in the last video or the video before, but I don't eat gluten. And there are a lot of things that I don't eat or drink right now because of the whole figuring out where the migraines are coming from, what's triggering it, letting everything settle. So I'm currently not eating caffeine, and the caffeine that's in teas, no alcohol, but I already didn't drink. I haven't had a drink in 4 years, and I'm gonna brag about that every chance that I get. I love being sober. And no white sugar, which is difficult because it's in a lot of products, like a lot, and I really don't eat it. So yeah, no white sugar, no chocolate. If you have migraines, you might recognize that it's not the best combination. And it's very sad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not eating spicy food right now, which is also devastating. And then no gluten. I already couldn't eat yeast and rye because that just upsets my tummy, and then now also gluten. So I'm just oats, buckwheat, rice-based stuff, corn-based stuff. So it's a lot of creative thinking when it comes to meal prepping. I think that you can kind of understand that. But I will say, I'm eating so healthy. I'm eating a lot of organic food, and my migraines have become less. And that was the whole point. So I'll take it. I really don't mind that much having to eat adjusted in an adjusted way. Just in social settings, it's a lot more difficult. Like when I want a pastry at a cafe, or when we're having dinner with friends and I have to be like, I can't have this and I can't have this, but also not that. Sorry, here's what I can have. That's difficult, and it's a little sad sometimes, but that's why I like doing the grocery shopping, making sure we have everything we need. And tonight I think I'm gonna make gluten-free pasta or a soup. I would love a soup. We got broccoli and courgettes, and I wanted to get pumpkin, but I forgot. But yeah, so that's been my day so far. And then I was like, I could take a nap, or I can have tea with you guys and hang out for a bit. It's it's weird to have a weird day, when emotionally things just start fluctuating so bad that it kind of, for me, like, it throws me off schedule a little bit in my head and in my actual schedule. And I think that's kind of the downside of being self-employed, is that you don't have someone else or an office where you just go back to work. If I decide to lay down on my bed right now, there's no one who's telling me, hey, you should work right now, and after that you can lie down. That has to come from me. So sometimes it's difficult. I wonder how you guys, if you are self-employed, how do you go about that? How do you set your boundaries? What works for you? I love scheduling things and working with time blocks, but once again, I'm the only one who can really hold myself accountable. There's no external factor involved. So yeah, I'm curious to hear what works for you. And that's everything that I had planned to talk about today. And I think that that's okay. Maybe a recap of my day is enough. And, it is, because this is just a check-in, and I hope that this brought you some comfort, and maybe you recognize some things or found something in this video that brought you joy, hopefully. I sold a book on a Vinted today that I need to send out later. This is What I'd Rather Not Think About by Jente Postuma, waar ik liever niet aan denk. I read it in Dutch because it's a Dutch or Belgian author. It was a very odd story, but very sad. The way that it was written was really nice, though. But this is a book that I'm not going to reread. So I put it on my Vinted and I sold it today. And I got the notification as I was going to the post office. So I was like, if she'd bought it 10 minutes earlier, it would have been shipped, but I'll do it tomorrow. I do really like having little errands that are outside the house, especially if I'm working from home and working for myself all day. It's nice to have something out the house to, put in the schedule. That's what I wanted to say with the time schedule. I work in blocks of like, this is my work block, this is my break block, this is my hobby, resting time, etc. That's a tip for maybe anyone who wants to look at their schedule and who are self-employed. Blocking it that way for me works because the work itself varies a lot. So sometimes it's filming, sometimes it's editing, sometimes it's a meeting or whatever. So I can't really schedule that far ahead in a too exact way. I have to be a little bit more broad, so it's nice to squeeze everything into blocks. I don't know, I just love a schedule, I love a list, and I love getting to do the things on the list. Okay, so that's me on crashing out a really weird-ass dude in the house, and being self-employed. Okay, I think I'm gonna go make dinner now. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you had a lovely day or will have a lovely day whenever you're watching this. Don't forget to relax, unclench your jaw if you feel the tension has come back. Take another breath. It's all gonna be okay. And I'm thinking about you and sending you lots of love. Here's a forehead kissy. And I will see you soon. Bye!